Hello, and welcome once again to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So, welcome. It has been a couple of weeks since last time I saw you. I have been traveling up the East Coast. I went from Alabama up through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all the way up through Massachusetts, New York, to New Hampshire. Now, some of those were out of order, and if you know your geography, you know which ones. But I thought it might be fun to do some yoga based on traveling, since here we are in the middle of summer, and what does everyone want to do but go traveling? So sometimes it's just an hour down to the beaches or 2 hours down to the beaches. Sometimes it's 20 hours in the car one way, like I did, one way up and then one way back. So when you are in a car, there are things you need to stretch, and I'd like to show you how to stretch them. So for today's yoga, you will need, if you have a belt, you can use a belt. If you don't have a belt, you can use a towel. You can use a blanket. You can even use a scarf if you have one. We're just going to use it to try to get our legs in position to help stretch our lower body and our hips and our back from sitting in the car for wholly forever. So, excuse me, we're also going to need some space around you because we're going to be laying on the ground for a good portion of this. So, make sure you've moved your furniture around or you found a nice open place. We're not going to be doing too much overhead today. It's mostly going to be down on the ground. So if you have your belt or scarf or blanket or towel, you can go ahead and sit that down right in front of you, because the first thing you need to know about taking long car trips is you need to get out and move every now and then, get some circulation going. So what are some big yoga poses that move everything? Well, first, we can always start off at our base pose of mountain pose. Do you remember that posture? It's when your feet are under your hips are under your ears, everything is straight. There's a bend in your knees because your knees are over your arch, not your heel, and you're standing up nice and tall. All right? If you bend your knees and bring your arms up, this is chair pose or intense pose. And with your arms at your side, this is kind of how you sit for the entire time in the car. So feel how that feels. What muscles are engaged in here? Where are you feeling some strain? And those are the things we're going to focus on stretching today. So, in keeping with the whole let's move thing, let's start off with some big postures, okay? So we are going to start off by spreading our feet as wide as we can and still have some good balance here. Bring our arms out wide, our head up straight, lengthen and straighten our spine, and we are in star pose. Now we're going to go back and forth between star pose and a goal post or a goddess pose. All right, so stand up straight for our star pose and then bend everything. So we have our little goddess pose. All right, so stretch and bend and stretch and bend and stretch and bend. You feeling the movements yet? Excellent. Let's stretch and bend one more time. Stretch and bend. Now let's bring our hands down to the ground. Oh, can you feel how that stretches your hips and your thighs and your bottom? Let's try straightening out one leg in a nice little side lunge. And you can feel that stretch right there. We're going to walk our hands over as we move to the other side, and that also stretches our inner thigh. Let's do that a couple more times. Walk your hands to your left foot. Hold for a breath. And then we're going to walk our hands to the right foot. Hold for a breath. and then back to the middle with our knees bent. Go ahead and straighten out your legs and bend down in a nice wide-legged forward fold. Can you feel how that stretches the outside of the back of the thigh? That's amazing. You can even maybe feel it in your lower back, mid-back, upper back. See if you can walk your hands back and stay balanced. And feel how that changes things. Wonderful. Go ahead and bring your hands back in front of you or right underneath you. Bend your knees. Lift from the hips and straighten up. Whew. I feel like I've been moving. How about you? Let's turn and face our left side. Keep our right foot at about a 45-degree angle. Left foot straight ahead out to the side. Bending that front knee. We're going to lift our arms and look over our front or left arm. And this is our Warrior Two. Again, this is a good, strong leg pose. We're moving, but being still. That's Sthita and Sukra. Stillness and movement. Stillness and strength. And go ahead and drop that back arm all the way down to your leg. Flip the front hand, bring it up overhead in a nice reverse warrior. And then we're going to cartwheel our arms back level to the ground. Bend your front arm, bring it down to that front knee, and reach up over for a nice extended angle pose. A nice little cartwheel back up to our Warrior Two. Straighten up your legs. And reach over to your left. And once you can't reach any further, drop your front arm down to your ankle and reach your back arm, your right arm, up to the sky in a nice triangle pose or Trikonasana. Excellent. Let's go ahead and cartwheel back up. And it's almost like our star pose if you turn your feet back to the front. Wonderful. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. So bring your left foot up at a 45-degree angle or kind of halfway between forward and to the side. Our right foot goes out to the side, bending that knee, bringing our arms up and level, looking over your right hand now in a nice Warrior Two. Wonderful. Go ahead and drop your left hand back down to your leg. Flip your right hand, bring it up and overhead in a nice reversed warrior. We're going to cartwheel our arms level to the ground again, looking over our right hand. Again, back to Warrior Two. This time we're going to bend our right elbow, bring it down to our knee, and extend our left arm all the way up and over in a nice extended angle pose. Just big movements here. Go ahead and cartwheel back, level out your arms, straighten out your knee, and reach over to the right. When you can't reach any further, drop that right hand all the way down to your ankle or the floor, and reach your left hand up towards the sky in a nice triangle pose. Once again, we're going to cartwheel back up, arms level to the ground, turn your toes to the front, and you're back in star pose. You feel like you've done a lot of movement now? Awesome. Let's go ahead and walk our feet back together. Kind of shake them out. That was a lot to start off with, wasn't it? Let's maybe get some more big movements to get us ready for the floor work. And my microphone just fell. Ha-ha. So, let us try some sun salutations. So if you recall from a few videos back, a sun salutation is a series of yoga postures put into a specific sequence. So I'm going to start at the end of my yoga mat. I'm going to face to the side. It doesn't matter which way you face. If you have your mat facing long ways, that's fine. And we're going to reach our arms up overhead as we breathe in. Breathe out, lean back. Breathe in, bring it up. Breathe out, drop your hands to the floor. Breathe in, bring one leg back. Breathe out, bring the other leg back. Down to a downward facing dog. Lifting your hips up towards the sky. Dropping your head. Forward to plank. Drop your knees, bring yourself down to the ground. Up to a cobra. Back down, tuck your toes. Lift your hips up again to a downward facing dog. Step up with one foot and then the other. So you're in a forward fold. Breathe in, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands to your side. Now, there are a few different versions of this, and that's one of the versions that I've learned. You might know a different version. But for today, we're going to stick with this version. Let's do that one more time. I realize it's a lot of different postures, but let's see if we can get all these big moves out so we can hit the floor, okay? So, again, we're starting here at the front of our yoga mat. Kind of a mountain pose here. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, drop your hands to the floor as you go to a forward fold. Inhale, bring one foot back. Exhale, bring the other foot back. Up to down dog. Back down to plank. Drop your knees, bring yourself down to the ground. Push up into a cobra pose. This is going to stretch your low back here, folks. Go ahead and bring yourself down to the ground. Tuck your toes. Up to a downward facing dog. Step forward with one foot and then the other in a forward fold. Breathe in. Bring your hands up overhead. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Now, were you able to follow with that? You can always rewind this and try it again and just see if you can follow along. That's one of those things. Sometimes people do one version or another, and that's all they know, and that's all that exists. But there's actually several different styles of yoga, and each one has its own little sun salutation. They're all fairly similar, but that is another big sequence for big movement after you've been in the car for hours and hours. So now that we have all that blood flow and that movement going, let's see if we can get down to the floor. Go ahead and have a seat. And we're going to start with our feet wide. Now that we've moved and woken everything up, now's a good time to start to try to stretch. Now, if you can reach your feet, that's great. If you can't reach your feet, that's what we have our belts, our towels, and our blankets for, maybe a scarf. You can always lasso your foot and kind of reach down as far as you can. Okay? So, I'm going to be practicing with the belt today. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can always just reach for it. So, as we remember from previous routines, we always breathe in, straighten and lengthen our spine, and then turn. We don't just go grind our spine any direction we want. That can cause back damage or back problems. So instead, I need you to sit upright. Go ahead and wiggle your legs until they're comfortable. We just did a whole lot of movement. You might have some wiggles in you. Once you're ready, take a nice deep breath in. Lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn and face your right foot. Lasso it if you have your lasso. And then exhale and pull yourself down. Wonderful. We're going to hold our stretch here for 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Inhale, lengthen and straighten your spine as you sit up. Turn forward and exhale and let everything settle back down. How you feeling? Doing pretty good? Excellent. Go ahead and shake your legs. We're going to try the same thing on the other side. So if you have your lasso, you can go ahead and put it on there so we can get ready, or you can just do it in as we go. If you're not going to be using your lasso, then you can always just reach your hands towards your foot, okay? So we're going to start by breathing in, lengthening and straightening our spine. Turn to our left foot. Reach for that foot as you exhale or pull on your lasso. 3 breaths. 2, 3. And on your next inhale, straighten up, lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn towards the front. Exhale and let it all settle in. Go ahead and shake out your legs. Let's see if we can stretch our toes as well. We didn't really stretch our toes. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about stretching your toes? My goodness. So what we're going to do is we're going to spread our feet out as wide as we can. If these were my toes, I'd spread them wide and then crunch them all together and then spread them wide and then crunch them all together. It's kind of like your toes are making fists. One more time, open wide and then pull everything tight and then just let it go. Suddenly, your toes are feeling kind of relaxed, aren't they? It doesn't seem to make sense. You just did all sorts of intense things, but now your feet can relax. That's kind of important to remember as we go through in some of these next stretches. Okay? So I'm going to lay down on my back. I'm going to have my belt or towel or scarf or blanket with me. Go ahead and lay on your back. I'm going to bend my knees upward so my feet can be flat on the ground. I'm going to start the left toe on the right or the left foot. So however you need to start off, have it on your left foot around the arch, not your toes, not your heel. We're not strangling anything, but around the arch of your foot. Okay? So we're going to start off by taking a breath in and straightening our leg so the heel is pointing up to the sky. You can assist your leg with your scarf, your belt, your blanket, your towel, whatever you have with you. If you can reach your feet with your hands, you can also use your hands as an assistant. So, from here, go ahead and breathe out. Let your leg out to the side, holding it in place with the belt. Now, I've got a wall pretty close, so if you have a wall or some furniture, try to make accommodations. You might not get as much of a stretch, but you'll still get a little bit of a stretch. One more breath, and then on your next inhale, go ahead and bring your foot back up over your body, heel reaching towards that sky, and bring it over just a little bit so that your left foot is in front of your right shoulder, your right knee. So it's kind of like your leg is crossing the body, but not by too much. Can you feel how that changes the stretch? It kind of aims at the outside of your bottom. All right, now we're going to take a nice deep breath in and holding as much as you can, bring that left leg over to your right side, leaving your left hand on the ground. This is going to get into a nice stretch here in your hips and in your bottom. One more breath. And then when you're ready, inhale, bring that leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, let it come down to the ground. Now let's go ahead and change feet. Okay? Here we go. Are you ready? Awesome. Inhale, bring your right foot up, heel pointing to the sky. Exhale, bring your right foot out to the side, letting it go as far as it wants to comfortably. Don't try to force your legs to do something that they don't want to do. Okay? Honor what your body is telling you. On your next inhale, bring your right leg up towards the sky and a little over to the left. So it's like your foot's on the wrong side of the body. Try to keep your legs straight. And then on your next exhale, we're going to continue bringing that right foot over to the left side, leaving your right hand on the ground, your right hand and shoulder. You should feel a nice stretch all up in your hips maybe into your lower back. One more breath. And then inhale, bring your foot up. Exhale, bring your foot down. Now, this time, put both your feet in the belt. We're going to do a pose called legs up the wall. Now, if you have a wall close by, you can always absolutely put your legs up an actual wall. But if you are at a rest stop or at a park or you stop somewhere in your travels, maybe you're on the beach. That's a good one. You might not have a wall available. So you take your towel and you lift both feet up towards the sky so that your heels are pointing up towards the ceiling or the sky or the clouds that are up overhead. Now, to get a little bit more twist out of this, let's go ahead and bring both of our feet over to the right side, leaving your left hand on the ground. Left hand and shoulders. Only go as far as your body's willing to. This is a good stretch for your pectorals and your side. One more breath. And then slowly bring your feet back up. Switch hands. This time your right hand and shoulder is going to stay on the ground. Your left hand's going to pull your legs over. How you doing? Can you feel that stretch? Not too much, I hope. One more breath. And then slowly pull your legs up. And then you can slowly and like you intend to, drop your legs to the ground. And here's where we will be for our breathing exercise. This is called, you can call it a final relaxation pose or corpse pose. I know it as Shavasana. That's the name of the posture. Basically your hands are at your sides, palms up, body is flat, toes up. And you can feel any tension that's still there in your body, any place that's tight. After moving your body, after sitting in the car for so long, everything can get a little stiff. And that's okay. This is how we recover from it. So while we're here in our final relaxation pose, I want you to try to breathe in and out as fully and completely as you can. So breathe in, you should feel your chest expand, your belly comes out, nice big body breath. And then exhale slowly and completely. Just let it all out. 3 more breaths, okay? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. And you can practice that a few more times if you have the time. That's actually one of my favorite postures to end with. And that's all the time we have for today. So I thank you for joining me here at Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name's Tony. I'm here at MeTime LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office practicing with children from birth to age 19. They fund this through a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you coming and visiting and spending some time doing some yoga with me. Remember to be kind to yourself and others as you continue your day, and I hope to see you again next week. The light in me recognizes and is grateful for the light in you. Namaste.